I'll wait to see your golden smile, feel of 1,000 kisses. Oh, please stay a while. I'll reach up to hold your sunlit face. Feels like a handful of silk now. I'm in your warm embrace. Oh, I hope this feeling lasts till...
This is your traveller line. This is an endless line. So as you pull in on one side, the other side will come out. And this is a perfect example of where if you start pulling on this is all the way down the bottom of the bag.
Right.
You've got to make sure you pull it out before you start moving your traveller, because it's an endless line.
You run it through and then...
Yeah. So as you pull on one, the other one's running through.
Right.
Time will run, baby. We'll hold back the sun.
When we first arrived in Turkey, I thought we would starve. The local grocery store, which was more like a convenience store if I can be honest, didn't even have spaghetti sauce. There were canned tomato chunks or tomato sauce, but no ready-made spaghetti sauce like we were used to. Anyway, little by little, we began to get used to the different foods and took full advantage of the Saturday fresh produce market, which was absolutely insane. It was huge and really cheap. So every Saturday our galley is loaded up with fresh veggies, which I use throughout the week, and as they begin to look like they're just not going to make it another day, I throw them all in an omelet or some sort of pressure cooker stew and leave nothing to waste. Anyway, as the months have gone by, we're finding everything we actually need to make delicious meals, and if it's not at a local grocer or the fresh produce market, we order it online. Turkey has Amazon and a few other online shopping sites like Trendyol and Hepsiburada. It's important to find out the location of the items that you want to buy, because if they're not already in Turkey, you're going to pay some import fees over and above some extra shipping fees. So that took some getting used to, but if you look patiently, you can find pretty much everything that you need already in Turkey.
Even though I tried these perfect moments of you, I fall asleep sitting embraced in the morning, awake to that perfect side of you. Together
Kekova. Kekova is a small island in southwestern Turkey that is not far from our marina in Finike. Because the road is super windy, it can take well over an hour to get there. Sailing or motor sailing, it can take over 2 hours. The island itself is about 4.5 kilometers square, and it is uninhabited. On the northern side of the island, there are partly sunken ruins from an ancient town which was destroyed by an earthquake during the 2nd century, rebuilt during the Byzantine Empire period, and then abandoned. For the most part, it is a specially protected area, so it has retained its beauty. Just north of the sunken city is the small village of Kalikoi, which also has some sunken ruins as well as an amazing castle. Stay tuned for our future episodes when we return to the area and do a lot of exploring.
This is your remote control. And as we're coming into the anchorage, the first thing that we want to do is make sure that we have a triple breaker or something, so we want to make sure that it does work. So everything you want to worry about is over here. So the first thing we want to do is just make sure it works. So just go, okay, we know it works.
Okay.
So when are we then getting ready? So what you then do is you communicate back and you ask them, where are you going to anchor?
When you turn around, go forward at this mono, and then just go back.
Okay, so they're probably going to anchor around about here. So that gives us an idea so we know where we are. So this here is an actual island. We could have come around the other side and come in this way, but we came in this way.
And the only inhabitants are the goats?
Only inhabitants are the goats.
No, don't.
Okay, so we should be getting ready. It sounds like a really rock. And you can see we are still moving forward.
Yeah.
And then they'll yell out at us, so we just get ready. Hold that. And when she says to go down,
Alright, go
you
ahead.
just
Drop it.
and just hold your hand.
Always look at what he's saying, what you're doing.
So he wants to go back. So what he's done is he's watched how much chain you put out on the counter, and so you've probably just touched the bottom with the anchor. So he knows you're now on the bottom with the anchor, so now he's going to start moving the boat backwards.
To get it hooked.
So that we start laying out the chain.
Some more chain out.
So now,
Also, watch what you're doing. You're going to keep turning backwards and forwards. I think that'll do for lunch.
that'll be, yeah, you want to dig it a little. So the chain's going over here. So you want to head that way.
Turning. We're actually going, where's the chain?
Chain.
Where's the chain pointing?
Straight ahead.
That way. Now we're going to go back just a bit. See,
We're almost
over it. Go back.
Yeah, so
It's in
I
the
think-
roller.
I think we've actually already dug. So now that we've dug and we're not moving, the weight of the chain is now pulling the boat forward on top of it, which is that's called settling. Can we put the bridle on so that Claudine has a go? Are you dug? Are you?
I think we're pretty much in.
Okay, so we'll put the bridle on.
Just put the bridle on.
Okay, so leave this out because you still need it. So you've got to unclip this. This is a snap shackle. So to unclip the snap shackle, you pull the string.
Oh.
So that you have to have your eye.
Now, don't drop it. If I accidentally dropped it then. If I drop it, it'll go through it, and someone will be swimming under the boat to try and get it all out. So now take it. It's unlatched. Just whip it through there. So now closing it. Sometimes it's easier to close it by holding this out. Because that's the only thing holding that onto that.
Okay.
That's perfect. So now you just drop the ball chain, and you. So now as you're looking out here, you see the chain is dropping and the bridle is going out. You need to make enough chain down so that when the bridle is out, the chain comes up to the bridle and it has a little bit of a dip and comes up. So there's no pressure. That won't be enough. Because when it pulls you back, it comes out more. So keep going a little bit.
But then we're also.
So now what happens is the boat will be what we call settling. So this is where the wind will now take the boat and it'll twist the boat into the wind, so we'll start facing the directions as everybody else, and it will pull back and pull in on the chain how the boat wants to do based on whether it's windy or not windy or what have you. So what I'm doing, Claudine, is we're just idling back, so we're going to be pulling back on the chain, so you'll see how the bridle actually takes the weight off the chain, and this is when you were normally pulling back, this is what you're doing.
Okay.
So you can see now we're holding on the chain. There you go. You can see the boat's actually stopped. And see we've got a nice little loop, so we have no pressure on the gypsy.
Got it.
Okay, thank you.
I put in neutral and.
And so now what will happen is we put it back in neutral. Now the boat's got to resettle. So you can see it's now just creeping forward a little bit. And it's creeping forward because the chain was on the bottom and it was coming up to the boat like that. Well, the weight of the chain wants to sit flat on the bottom and come straight up like that when there's no wind. That's what we're currently doing.
Okay.
That's why if you look at this boat over here, his chain goes straight down because his boat has settled and there's no wind, so his chain will go straight down and then it will go straight along the bottom like that somehow.
Okay.
If the wind picks up, then the wind will blow us, and exactly what just happened will happen. The boat will ease back on the chain will lift off the ground a little bit, and the bridle will be hanging out here. And then you're actually holding on by the anchor and the weight of the chain.
Okay.
When you anchor, the anchor is not the only thing that's actually holding you down. The weight of the chain has as equal importance as the anchor itself in most conditions. In very, very stormy conditions, the anchor is critical. But in most conditions, the weight of the chain and the weight of the anchor combined is what actually holds you in place.
Okay. Well, brunch is ready whenever you all are.
That's the traditional.
Taking out the gennaker. Are we going to actually put the whole thing up?
We need to attach this.
You need to go and get that off there.
We need to attach this to there and unattach that. Now, to get that off, you need some slack. Some slack needs to go up into the jammer. Jam it. Now you see where it goes up into the mast? It's in the head sail.
Make sure you don't get it caught up with the
Don't
other
twist it
line.
around your head sail. Take it. Okay, I've got it. Because we've brought the halyard to this side of the head sail, make sure the bottom is on this side of the head sail. So now you go back over. This is a standard snap shackle.
you watch that what's coming down there, because you need to know. This is just simple pulling stuff.
And you can see how much thinner the material is, because this is a light wind sail. And this is why we're putting it up, because when we go back, the wind will be behind us. But we know that the wind is at a fairly low wind speed today.
Right.
So the heavy Genoa will have trouble staying full of air, whereas the lighter gennaker will fill easily. It's no big deal. So these are your sheets. Now, there is no left and right. They're both one or the other. So one of them, when it comes to the head sail, you're now on the very front. So again with your sheets can't go in the wrong side of your head sail. So one of them has to go this way,
Got it.
and one of them has to go that way, because when the sail comes out, it comes out that way. This is also a very, very big sail. So this sail, the sheet will come down here,
Round the
on
outside.
the outside of the shrouds.
Right. Right.
It comes all the way back
Outside
down
of the
here
shrouds.
to this block.
That's where we're gonna
Oh wow.
We're going to
run them
in a
outside.
moment. Yeah,
Gotcha. Not. That's for the other.
that's the parasailer.
Not have that song, something round the outside. So you remember always round the outside of the shrouds.
So we'll get the endless furler in. These little blocks on here.
Do you want me to put these? Over
No, we'll
there?
do this first.
Okay.
Oh, look at all the smoke coming out of their boat.
Barbecue.
Oh,
Okay, so those blocks are going to attach the crossbeam in a moment, but we're currently in the wrong angle, you see? So this has to go under.
Right. Under the other line.
That's right, and this little block here, this is designed just to tie somewhere back there, just to hold it in tension. But the
What's it's called?
the small amount that you've got makes it a little hard to use. So now you see you've got that.
Got it.
So with see the furler, see that arrow? That arrow is to wind the sail in. So if the arrow is turning in the direction of the arrow on the bottom of the furler, I'm effectively winding it in. I can tell I'm winding it in now because it's already furled up.
Right.
But when it's out, you go, which one do I pull to wind it in? Because you could wind it in either direction.
You wind it in from up here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not at that.
Because it can go in any direction, you can actually wind it backwards. And if you wind it backwards, it's difficult to control getting it in and out.
So winding would be
This is
counterclockwise.
winding it in. Now what also happens, see that? See that's locked?
Yeah.
This is why you've got to wind it up the correct way every time. Because that little pin that I put in, that pin is that lock.
Okay.
So to stop that from doing that, because we want to unfurl it, we can't unfurl it at the moment. You actually go like this,
And then I'm
and that's what the thing, it sort of slides forwards and
Slides,
flies back.
yeah, yeah.
So now it unlocks, and so now it can unfurl.
Okay.
If I wanted to lock it again, then I do it in that direction. I hear the click. It can lock again.
Got it.
Because this sail is very light wind. It's very, very big. If you have gusts of winds and you've got your sail still up, you can do what's called hourglassing, where wind will get under the luff of the leach of the sail and puff it out up this end and puff it out here, and then it can blow out. It can be out of control while it's out. And so having this locked helps for it not to unfurl itself, but it doesn't stop the hourglassing. And that's why you generally don't leave these soft sails up. The main reason though is because it does not have UV protection. So this is all now ready, so let's run the sheets.
Okay.
When you try to pull, if the wind gets too strong, you always pull it in before the wind gets strong, because it is really hard, and it's a really good idea when you pull it in with gloves on. The line's thin,
Right.
just have some.
Okay.
The back one.
The back block on the outside of the net here.
So we're gonna use that.
That winch, yes.
But when this comes under load, this is going to snap your lifeline off. So you actually have to come under here.
Okay. Okay. there and pull through.
And then when that's now coming, it's going to come through here.
So I can undo this. Tie that, maybe tie this up.
Either going to be sheeted out on that side or sheeted out on this side. Do you have a winch handle near here?
We have one over there.
That's the one you use for both.
Right.
Yeah, right over there.
And then now the thing to remember with your gennakers, once you've set them up, you've now created a new trip hazard.
Yeah.
Right here.
On you what, trip
Trip
hazard?
hazard. So see, it's spinning on itself. It's not actually turning.
So I need to loosen. Oh, there you go.
So this is an example of, you see, when you have put it up, or when it's been in storage, it's just gotten loose on itself.
Okay.
So I was able to nearly pull that much of it out without it even turning. So when we put it back, we'll make it a bit tighter.
Okay.
So to release this, because it's currently locked,
Right, we have to.
you've got to do the whole thing. You'll only be able to go in one direction, but it should be your left hand towards you. Yep, and then pull it the other way. There you go. So now I can pull this out.
Got it.
And so while that's coming out, just hold it. And hold the curl up. It's going to unfurl itself.
Do we want to do that while we're still at
Well, no,
anchor?
because we don't want to sail. So now
Yeah.
we're going to wind it back in.
All right,
So you've got to follow the angle of the arrow,
okay.
this one, and just pull. Pull and let go of that one. See how awkward that is?
Yeah.
And keep going. You put a lot of wraps on these. More wraps on this is better.
Now we
So
want
now
to
you
lock
wanna
it.
See, it's sort of the reverse of what you were doing. There you go.
There we go.
Now, good practice. Today we can't do it because this is set up as not right. But good practice is then to tie it into a knot. It's like a slip knot. Because underway, this could vibrate like that
And loosen
and actually
itself.
unlock itself. But if you've got it locked and then you have it so it can't come through there, that can't move.
Right.
So, if, for example, if this was set up longer, you could just simply do, you know, just a simple thing like that. Right?
Okay.
And now this won't,
It won't go anywhere.
so it's locked. When it comes time to get it undone, because there's no load on this, you're not
No.
pulling it tight or anything, you just simply undo it. And then you're out back, and then you can get ready to have it. It's still locked at the moment because I'm
Right.
holding tension, but then you can just unlock it, furl it out. Now, you saw how amazing it got that far out and it just wanted to go,
Yeah.
right? This is where you start skinning your fingers,
Gloves.
because and this is why I hate endless furlers.
The other way, what we were thinking of doing, what some people on helias have done, is bring that back to the
Yes.
helm. What we were going to do is leave the third rip out and bring that to the helm. But
So
I didn't wanna
what they
pay for
do is they cut this line and they replace it with a new line, and you need about, I think it's nearly 60 metres or 70 metres of line, and you run it through there, and instead of coming across through here, you bring it across to here and you run it exactly like a head sail furler.
You get another one?
Yeah, and you run a second set of, runners up here, run it down there
Right down
to
there.
another block, because your head sail furler and your gennaker furler will be different blocks, and then it can come up to the,
you can always put another clutch in there.
it can come up here.
Trip hazard.
Back, the foot of the sail just flops from this side and flops
that
over
side.
there. Well, when you're tacking with a sail that's in front of your head sail, there's different ways of doing it. More skilled people will actually pull it through using their sheets. Less skilled people will actually furl the sail in and then redeploy it.
Wow.
And so you've got to know your sail. That's why. If you're going like today, we know what the winds are like here, so it's okay for us. But if you're on like an island, like in Sicily is a good example, and you're coming across the coastline, similar to what this is, in Sicily, it's very common that as you come across a gap in the mountains, you'll start getting bullets down through there. That's when you get sails like this in big trouble. Because all of a sudden you're going from 10 knots to 20 knots, can't get the thing in, all hell's breaking loose. But it's a lovely, lovely sail. Lovely.
Not to scare me, but yeah, no, you have to.
You just got to show it respect.
Exactly.
Same speed.
we're gonna deploy the gennaker. See what happens.
You right, Donovan?
Yeah, we'll let it out.
So it's going on the port side. Oh, that's beautiful.
This means all the way out.
Okay. So what's the boat speed, Jill?
4.
Okay.
4 knots.
Okay, so you see how much of this sheet had to come out for this to go through there. Because we ran this through from here, make sure it's not dripping down there.
Good.
Because you can see you still have stacks of rope. And this is why I thought not to do this. And I'll tell you why, because if we get it overpowered, and I said you needed to let it out to depower it, this could effectively get jammed. So if all hell broke loose and we went through some sort of squall hit us from nowhere because we weren't paying attention, and we needed to completely blow the sail, we would even let this just run all the way out and fly out into the wind, that all the way out there, just so we could get it in. So now we'll just give it an opportunity to actually make sure it doesn't collapse on itself, because we don't want. So the wind is in good spot, and the sail is out. It's a ripper.
It's a ripper.
Now,
What does that mean?
ripper.
Great,
great,
good,
fantastic.
wonderful.
Now,
It's Australian.
catamarans don't have a rear stay.
No.
Because we don't have a rear stay, we rely on only a tripod to kick the mast up.
Right.
We don't have the mainsail up, so all of the pressure is now pulling forward on the foresail. So we use the main sheet and the boom and the topping lift to act as a tiny little rear stay. So because we have a big head sail up, we want to make sure that this main sheet is tight. Because by making it tight, we're effectively creating a little mini rear stay, which just takes pressure off your rig. And I know, see, I know, I can pull that in with my hand, so I know it's not tight.
Woo!
Shit. There you go.
Now it's tight.
Now it's tight.
Now it's tight. I don't like it either. And let's free up my winches. And now we've got good pressure everywhere. We're moving along. The sail is only just holding. You can see the wind is, it's only just right. And this is why you've got to, it's really low wind, you've got to watch it. Because if it starts collapsing, when it collapses, it's going to start getting all up in there in the shrouds and everything like this. And until then, because we slowed the engines right down so we could put air into the sail so that we could at least keep its shape, and we know that we're in too light a wind. You see our speeds at 3.6? We almost don't have steering.
Yes.
So we can't really stay like this because we could effectively lose steering.
And if we lose steering,
Yeah. So
we got a problem.
it's a good idea to pull it in now. We put it out, now we'll pull it in.
Yeah.
You've done.
Okay,
Been
so
there,
now-
done that. Let's put it away.
Now what will happen is as you bring in this line, this sheet is going to go super slack. So while you're pulling it in, this will happen the whole time. Just periodically
Pull it. Okay. So I can pull it over the mouth.
Yeah.
So it doesn't do
Now,
anything.
hold on. So just yell at me when you're ready. Alright. Now you want to lock it.
I was trying to hold this up and pull it in at the same time, but you can't do that.
So you can see, you can pull it in,
Yeah.
but there is some tension on it. Yeah.
Pulling right there, we're good.
Yeah.
So when we back in, we're going to bat in first. We're going to attack the engine first.
Hi. I'm going to run out of steering.
There's a little boat coming towards us.
A little bit. Oh, a little fishing. Well, that can go far bigger than him, so it's going to go around that side.
Wow, there's lots of people.
say to your position. That's what he meant. Okay, this is
Yeah.
Come out. So
all good. Thank you.
yeah, I heard it. You could throw that over the line. Yeah, one.
See, I didn't stop the boat.
It's good.
You're clear on this side.
Thank you.
You want me to go the other side?
See that.
Yeah, we got it.
1 meter.
1 meter.
Working man controls. I think I do it better when it's windy. Okay, what do we do?
I think you're good on neutral.
Can you give us front side drop, please? Don't go back.
No, you still don't. Might be a bit long, I'm not sure.